Be advised, this episode of the Lions of Liberty podcast gets a little bit racy, so you might want to have the kids leave the room and buckle up.
Coming soon to Broadway, Mr. Johnson's Libertyhood, a one-man stage play.
Perfect.
It's a beautiful day in this Libertyhood. A beautiful day for a candidate. Could he be mine? Could he be mine? It's a Liberty day in this Johnsonwood. A Liberty-ish day for a Gary.
Welcome to the Lions of Liberty podcast. I'm your host today, Governor Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate for president. This is episode number 258. Which means you can find the show notes featuring links to all sorts of stuff over at lionsofliberty.com/258. Now, before I get into the show, I know you Liberty folks love listening to the Liberty podcast, so I've got a few I want to recommend to you. First of all, we got the Johnny Rocket Launchpad. They're great, like me. They're fiscally conservative, socially liberal. Johnny's always smoking up by the playground, that guy. And then we've got the Lava Flow podcast. Now, Roger Paxton, he's always given me and my man Bill Weld a hard time. I don't really know why. We're just doing our best out here, but I do recommend checking out the Lava Flow podcast nonetheless. And finally, one of my best friends, actually second only to Bill Weld, my best friend on the planet, Chris Spangle, and the We Are Libertarians podcast. Chris taught me everything I forgot and never knew about libertarianism. Be sure to check all of these fine podcasts out. Now, I want to get started by bringing in my co-running mate, my future co-president, and tonight, my co-host, my best friend in
Thanks,
the world.
Gary. That's enough. I'm running with him. This is Governor Bill Weld.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Gary. You talked a little more than I would have liked, to be honest with you.
Well, you said I had at least 2 minutes.
I know what I said, but what I meant was, to say a couple words and then shut up and let Uncle Bill take over,
All right. Well, what are we doing here this evening on Halloween?
Well, if you'd shut up, I'd tell you, Gary.
Oh,
here's
yes,
what
sir.
we're doing. Now, Governor Bill Weld has an idea for tonight. It's Halloween. It's one of my favorite times of year. Back, when I was a Republican, I would always go out on Halloween. And I know you were a Republican too, but when I was a Republican, always go out on Halloween. So I'm thinking we could go trick-or-treating. It's the bomb. What do you think about that, Gar?
Well, that sounds great. Can I eat all my candy tonight?
We'll see how you behave, but that's a good question. Well, hey, tell you what, you can eat all your candy if I can stick my face in your freezer and drink all of your bourbon.
Well, Bill, as you know, I don't drink alcohol anymore, but as I've always said, my freezer is your freezer.
Thank you so much. Don't drink alcohol, and you haven't smoked weed for how long now? 6, 7 weeks? Wink, wink,
I believe
wink.
It's been 6 weeks. Oh, wait, or is it 6 weeks since the last time I said 6 weeks? It's been some time.
That's some math. That's some government math. All right, so let's go trick or treat. Well, what are you dressed as, by the way, Gary?
Well, I am dressed up as a libertarian.
Well, smack my tits, so am I. I'm also dressed as a libertarian.
All right. Think they're going to buy this one?
I don't know. You know what? The delegates bought it. Hey, you idiots. Bunch of idiots. Maroons. Bunch of maroons.
Oh.
All right, what do you say? Let's go door to door, huh?
Let's do it.
All right. Feel free to light up and toke one for the road there, buddy.
Oh, I'm way ahead of you, Bill.
Excellent.
I believe the presidential drug test doesn't apply to Halloween.
All right. No, it does not.
All right, nice late neighborhood, the Libertyhood here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Libertyhood. It's a beautiful day to be in the Libertyhood. As long as we're going to be here, I think that's only going to be till about November 4th or November 8th, I should say. But while we're here, we might as well take in the sights. Here's a nice house.
What happens that day?
It's this whole election thing. It doesn't matter. Let's just say, I hope. Well, we're going to go vote. Of course, I got to cast my ballot for Hillary. for the Johnson Weld ticket.
Yeah.
You'll probably forget.
I think do you need to register to vote? Is that a thing you need to do?
If you're running for president, do you? I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh, we're going to have our people look into that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Here we're at the first house. Let's see if anybody's
a nice house, Bill.
Open up the damn door. It's Governor Bill Weld.
Hello. I'm Mitt Romney. Who's that, Bill?
Hey, Mitt.
Bill, is that you? You crazy son of a bitch, Bill. All the way from Massachusetts.
Hello. I'm here too. Hi, it's me, Gary.
Gary, just stay behind me.
Little hippie with you.
It's me, Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate for president.
Gary, you stink. You stink of marijuana.
Oh, no. I haven't smoked in at least 6 weeks, days, minutes. The point is, I'm not high.
Well, since you guys are on my front porch here, I did see you in the news recently, Gary. You were talking about cocaine and drugs. I read an article in the Daily Caller that talked about it. What was that all about?
Well, sure. I mean, I was talking about the war on drugs. And what I actually said was, I said, let me just tell you something about cocaine. Cocaine puts holes in your heart. Whitney Houston, now that's your typical cocaine user who dies at 50 from a heart attack. I'm not sure what my point was in bringing that up, but interesting, huh? And the point is, drugs kill people, but the war on drugs doesn't really help. Waging a war on it doesn't help anybody. You shouldn't be throwing people in jail. If someone like Whitney Houston, who's rich and famous, is gonna kill herself with cocaine, well, that's what she's gonna do. Bill?
Damn well right, Gary. You shouldn't have said it without me. If I was there, I would have made a little bit more of a coherent point. But yeah, I mean, hey, you can't argue with the fact that Whitney Houston had cocaine holes in her heart.
Bill, what has happened to your conservative values? We got to keep the drugs away from the streets, away from the commoners.
Well, once we get into office, we'll have a task force for that.
Whitney died in her bathtub, not the street.
That's irrelevant, Gary. Always making up stupid things no one cares about.
Well, typically I make bourbon in my bathtub, so there's no dead Whitneys in there. Well, anyway, Mitt, what do you think about? So that was a trick or a treat, according to you? I don't know what's happening. I'm holding a pumpkin here. Okay. It's a plastic pumpkin. I don't know what to put in it.
Everything Gary says about drugs is terrible, so it's a trick.
Oh.
Well, then, I bid you good day, sir.
I was hoping for an edible.
Actually, you know what, Mitt? Why don't you come along with us? You want to go trick-or-treating?
I'll tell you what. I'll come along, but I can't endorse it. I cannot endorse what you're doing.
That's fine. Come on, here we go. We're off to see the wizard.
Good thing to say. I guess he can come.
All right, I got a special place I want to show you, Gary. I've never shown it to you before, but it's the place that I grew up, and it's the place that I call home. You know, it's not just my Libertyhood, and it's the Bill Weld. It's my mind weld. Yeah, the mind weld. Welcome, Gary. What do you think about this? You know, in this neighborhood, there's lots of money, Gary.
This is an amazing place, Bill.
Isn't it? Hey, you know what, Gary?
You biggest houses I've ever seen.
That's right. Guess what size candy bars they have at these houses?
Hopefully the really big, full kind, the extra large, family size.
We're talking king size candy bars in the Bill Weld, everybody. So let's go. Hey, oh, by the way, that's right. You see, that's my house right there. It's that big white one. And next door, you see that one. It used to be white, but now it's a little dirty and tainted from all the things that have happened. But that's Bill Clinton's house and Hillary Clinton's house and Chelsea's tree house is right there. You see that?
I never knew you all lived in the same neighborhood or were neighbors and friends. Huh?
Yeah, we've stayed pretty pretty tight over the years. Well, why don't we go over and say hello? I'm sure they're home with some candy for us. Let's go up to the door and say hello. Well, I'll be damned if it isn't Bill Weld and some guy.
Hillary, Gary Johnson.
Who?
Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate for president.
I have no idea who you're talking. Hilda, come here. Hillary darling, can you come here and see these fellas? They're dressed up as I think they're libertarian. Are you boys libertarians?
the costume worked again, Bill. This is going great.
We got them right where we want them, Gare Bear. Hi, guys. Oh, my goodness. Look at your pretty costumes. These two kids. You know, your whole candidacy has been so adorable. Oh, I'm sorry. I got faint there.
Hillary, you okay?
Oh, damn. Oh, I think you boys better move
Trick or
along.
treat?
Yeah, it's yeah. You know what? Sure. While you're here, I'll give you a treat. Well, it was a treat for me actually, as a Clinton. By the way, Bill, thank you so much for your statement attacking Trump and you know not mentioning Hillary at all. That was wonderful. So I want to give you boys some candy for that. That was great. But yeah, just, you know, I just really loved everything that you said. Bill, just remind me real quick. Just say a few sweet words from that statement that you put out. Could you, just, you know, while Hillary's on the floor, I like to do my dirty business. And I think that might help you out. Well, it'd be my pleasure. How about this? Mr. Trump had some charisma and panache and intellectual quickness. These qualities can be entertaining, yet more than charisma, more than intellectual ability is required of a serious candidate for this country's highest office. A serious candidate for the president of the United States must be stable, and Donald Trump is not stable. Oh, that's right. You keep going. How about this? Throughout this campaign, Mr. Trump has demonstrated an inability to handle criticism or blame well. His first instinct is to lash out at others, and when challenged often responds as a child might. Oh, don't stop talking, sugar cookie. That's got my Clinton rolling. That's got good old Bill going. That's a treat. Oh God, I got it all over here. Bill, what have you been doing to me? I gotta go, guys. Merry Halloween.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, she fell on the floor.
I've never seen anything like that, Bill. Like, I got to be honest with you. I'm not sure. Good thing we're socially tolerant.
We are socially tolerant. Yeah. I wish we'd still said liberal, but you know that's fine. But you know,
we were the first governors to ever accept that sort of thing we just saw.
Yeah, you know, and I liked gay people, which makes me a libertarian.
I like one thing that made me a libertarian. See how easy it is?
Halloween high five. All right. I think we both high five. We high five twice there. It was both hands. But yeah, that she's going to be the next president of the United States. She's got my vote. That Clair.
Wait, your vote? What, I thought, aren't you voting for me?
I meant my American Idol vote. She's going to be on American Idol next season, or Dancing with the Stars. It doesn't matter. Why don't we? You know, my Gare Bear, my feet are tired. Why don't we take a break from trick or treating for a bit, and maybe we should just call it a night. Bill's got a little drunk. I don't have much whiskey left in this bottle anyway.
Whatever you say, Bill.
All right, Gary. Kiss on the forehead. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, Trolley. Neighborhood of make-believe.
Oh my God! What a dream! The trolley woke me up. Oh my God! We're all here. Hey, I had the craziest dream, guys. Marc, wake up!
Hey, what's up, man? What the heck? That was weird. Oh
Holy
boy, that
shit!
was really weird. I don't know.
Did you have a dream about Bill Weld and Gary Johnson trick or treating?
Yeah, that was weird. And I was Gary Johnson, I guess. And I don't know what I ate or what I smoked. Did we actually share the same dream?
I think we did. Wait, Rico, get up!
Yeah, I was dreaming about Mitt Romney again. What the heck is going on?
Again?
I mean, for the first time.
Again?
First time.
That's weird.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think we were legitimately in the land of libertarian make-believe there.
I think we were.
Must have been. We must have been.
Rico, are you alive?
I'm alive now.
All right.
I wasn't before.
So we're all here. You guys heard it. Welcome to the start of, I guess, the actual show of Mr. Johnson's.
What's your name for people out there that don't know?
Oh, hey, guys. It's Brian McWilliams. Howdy. You might know me from
I'm
other
Marc
episodes.
Clair. I'm the host of the Lions Liberty podcast. Brian here is the host of the regular Mr. Johnson's Libertyhood that you hear on this podcast feed every couple of weeks.
We've got John Odermatt, host of Felony Friday.
Hello.
And a guy we call Rico.
I'm the host of nothing. Thanks for having me.
So, hey, guys, you know what? We just had a crazy trip there. I don't know about you, but my head's hurting. The only thing I could think of to solve this problem is to drink. And I have opened up a bottle of Beck's Oktoberfest myself, which is not the best Oktoberfest, but is the only thing they had at the Ralph's. And also, I'm drinking some whiskey to back it up.
I actually ate some ayahuasca that I got from my man Mike Brancatelli. So, but I'm also drinking some Modelo. That's what I'm blaming the trip on. I think it was the ayahuasca. That whole weird.
The same Modelo you left in the bathroom before the show. Your bathroom Modelos.
I thought that was a private off-air conversation.
Nothing's private from our audience.
Mark lost his beers in the bathroom.
I momentarily misplaced my Modelos. It's no big deal. We don't need to harp on it.
Odie, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking for the first time. It's called Jack's Hard Cider, and it's pretty good. I guess I got into this thing where I'm drinking these drinks that have a first name before them. I don't know what that means. The Henrys and then Jack's, and I don't know what
They're all your best friends.
Never drink alone. What about you, Rico?
I'm just drinking some rum and cider.
You love that rum and cider.
Cold fall day here in Cleveland.
Every time Rico's been on any of these shows, he's drinking rum and cider. I applaud it. Well, let's get into this. You guys, let's bring that. We all had that same crazy, insane dream that I'm hoping somehow got recorded on audio, so our audience could also have heard it. But let's talk about some of those things, those crazy things. I mean, first off, what the hell was Gary Johnson talking about with that Whitney Houston cocaine thing?
I don't know.
Gary.
I have no idea what his point was.
We tried asking Gary, and he just went on another weird rant.
It's like, I appreciate Gary's points on the drug war, and it's one of his stronger topics, I'd say, to talk about in general. But as always seems to be the case to me, he has presented with the opportunity to talk about all the shortcomings of the drug war and how it hurts people, especially minorities, and how justice is not equally applied when it comes to the law in these cases. And then he somehow just decided to bring up the fact that Whitney Houston was a cocaine addict and makes holes in your heart. I don't know what to say about that.
He's trying to be educational.
In fairness, it's just that's just one quote from this article summarizing the event. So I don't know. Maybe he made coherent points around it, but it still seems like a weird thing to bring up. Like, let me tell you about Whitney Houston. She died of cocaine. Anyway, and the war on drugs.
Good old non sequitur Gary Johnson.
Oh,
what do you guys think of that? Good or bad? I mean, what do you think? Good, bad?
Are we actually going to good or bad? You mean on or off? Come on. What do we?
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
You know what? I think I'm going to give it a John Thon, because why not? At this point, why not? If it gets him talking about the war on drugs, who cares? It got him a headline in the Daily Caller. At this point, I don't even know.
It did get him a headline. The headline was Gary Johnson says Whitney Houston is habitual cocaine abuser or something.
Maybe he's just trying to get all the search terms he can in his speeches, so he gets more hits.
How many people are Googling Whitney Houston cocaine right now?
I have no idea. It's one of the top trending topics on Google all the time.
I thought it was Whitney Houston and crack, so he might have even messed that up. Nice job, Johnson. John's off.
Absolutely, John's off.
I'm in the same boat as Mark. At this point, I don't know. It's a Johnson. At least he's talking about being against the drug war. He's doing it in an incoherent way, but I'm not picky anymore.
All right, but then what about? Okay, so he's staying on point in this one. But what about when he posted his Facebook group, his Facebook page that he wants
his private group,
his private Facebook group where he just sits and smokes weed in the camera.
Can you picture Gary Johnson like moderating a Facebook group?
Now, guys, but how about him pushing his book during the campaign? In the middle of the campaign, he posts a video where he's like, "Hey guys, come do a live Q&A with me about my book."
I mean, the weird thing about it, I mean, candidates do write books all the time, and usually it's like way before their campaign. You know, it's the lead in to their campaign before they even have one, or you find out later they put out a book after the campaign because the whole point of the campaign was to like raise their profile to sell some books. But the timing is just so strange because it's like 3 weeks before the election. It's when all the focus, in theory, if you're a serious, legitimate candidate for anything, you're focusing on election. And suddenly I see this Facebook live feed pop up. And first of all, it starts with 12 seconds of Gary just like blinking and awkwardly looking around.
And that's the worst thing he does, by the way, as a human, is blink. It's very awkward.
But but it is actually the best part of the video. And then he goes.
It seemed like he was legitimately surprised there was a camera there.
he was literally reading his own book, and they're like, "You're on camera, Gary."
You know what? Someday when this is all done, I want to sit down and just, well, I guess I want to have a beer with him. He'll smoke a joint, and we'll have some beers and hang out with Gary, because he probably is ridiculous to hang out with for reasons that we've gone over for months.
Well, if he would ever accept the invite to be on the show, we could find out firsthand, but he hasn't.
Maybe after the campaign, he'll want to come on and promote the old Cannabis Sativa. Promote the book. You can promote the book.
Come on,
I'll do a book review. I really will. Gary, send me a copy to, well, I'm not going to give you my address because I don't want you showing up here, but
1111 Libertyhood Drive.
113 Liberty Drive. Okay.
What are the odds Gary Johnson, like 10 years after everyone forgets about him, is on a VH1 reality show like The Surreal Life, where he's dealing with Vanilla Ice?
100%.
I can't wait.
No, you know what? They're going to be on Divorce Camp or Celebrity Boot Camp, Divorce Camp, or whatever the fuck that show's called. Him and Bill Weld. That's what's going to happen.
You don't think they'll break up, do you?
After a big reunion on
after
Dr.
everything
Phil.
they've been through?
Well, they're going to go on the show to save their relationship. It's going to be amazing. They're going to be with Honey Boo Boo's mom and Sugar Bear.
Kiss on the forehead.
So yeah, we all agree that. So clearly, John's off for that one. Terrible. Hey guys, a quick editor's note. We actually had an impression from Rico earlier as well when we were trick-or-treating, which unfortunately the audio got lost and corrupted on that segment. It was gold though, baby. Trust me, it was gold. But I'm going to play the clip here that we talked about when we were trick-or-treating, so you know what we're talking about in this later segment that you're about to hear.
I mean, I've looked and searched for any credible economist who would think it's sensible to abolish income tax, abolish the IRS, abolish corporation tax and replace it with effectively one large sales tax, and think that makes sense.
Well, like I say, we have a difference of opinion.
I'm not saying that you and I disagree. I'm saying most of the world's major economies, most of the world's major economists disagree with you.
Look, I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue, really.
But it's not a question of arguing.
Look, I came out for the legalization of marijuana. Let me just use that as an example. And I will tell you that I had people in my face for years and years and years talking about how stupid and how idiotic it was that we should allow marijuana to be legal.
But what's that got to do with your tax policy?
It's leadership. It is leadership.
What do you guys think about the fired up, getting fired up? I'll let somebody else run with that topic.
Well, you were mentioning him bringing up the drug war at random times. And this is a classic example of it because he was talking about taxes. So anyways, he was talking about his tax policy. And then he's like, yeah, and we've been talking about marijuana for years. I've been saying it should be illegal. And the guy's like, well, what does that have to do with anything? He's like, it's leadership, damn it.
Yeah, what? I love that. It's leadership. What? So your idea of leadership is just going off on crazy tangents for no reason and talking about how and by the how is he a leader on anything involving the drug war? Did he have any legislation involving the drug war when he was governor of New Mexico? I don't think so, right?
Well, he has been in favor of legalizing pot for a really long time, since early 2000s, I think. He
came out even when he was governor for legal pot. At a time when he was already in office, it actually hurt him. His poll numbers plummeted, and then he rebounded and won the second term. But he was coming out on this. He was way ahead of everybody. This is one thing I definitely give Gary Johnson credit for. He was talking about legalizing pot way before it was, a popular, an acceptable political thing to say.
So you would say he was a leader.
Yeah,
I think the problem was he left out the words in between that are supposed to explain why the two things are linked and why that made him a leader. And
Step 1, collect underpants. Step 2, Step 3, leadership.
Maybe that's going to be in the book.
Yeah.
Yes, that'll be it. The entire book is that missing centerpiece with no introduction or ending, by the way.
But his point didn't make sense anyways, because he said at the beginning of the interview that, there's no way my tax plan would make it through Congress anyways. How's that leadership?
Yeah, exactly. Giving up and rolling over.
He's like, guys, you know, I can't convince anybody of anything. So what are you so worried about?
He's like, have you heard me speak? No one's buying what I'm selling.
In defense of Gary Johnson and tax plan, there's never been a president in my lifetime that their tax plans made it through Congress.
No, that's a good point.
Not what happens. Well, the Bush tax cuts, wasn't that a thing?
That was a thing, but I think that was more just because the overall economy was in such a shit. But that Congress as a whole. Well, are you talking about that? Are you talking about the? Well, yeah, the taxes did go through. I guess that's true. I was thinking more of the stimulus. They said $300 buckaroos in my pocket.
No, but there was the original Bush tax cuts even before that. Not that long
the original Bush. We were in college, I think, when we got a check for that.
I mean, it was a really long time ago.
It was. Yeah, it was like 2003, maybe. Yeah. Anyway,
we don't need. We're beyond the fact portion of the show, so we'll never.
But I don't think we started with the fact portion of the show. We had to go to Marc Allen Feldman
facts.
Yeah, we did have a Feldman fact. That was true. But yeah, I mean, I guess I know what you guys are saying, but I do agree though. You can't, just like Rico said, you can't make a position or make a pitch about leadership and about your positioning if you admit that none of the things that you're pitching are going to happen. What's the freaking point then? It's like if you're coaching a football team and you're like, guys, we're going to lose. Let's go. And then you charge through the paper shit and you fall down your face.
What's so annoying about it is like the host guy, he's like, millions of the world's economists say that the fair tax is awful and can never work. What do you think about that? And it's so easy. There's so many ways to answer this question. I mean, seriously, how about, well, all the world's economists thought the housing bubble was going to go on forever. Or how about, why? Of course, these people that are all vested in the current system support it. I mean, there's so many ways.
Or how about you don't know until you try it? How about you try it and see what happens?
Yeah. And anything. Instead, he bumbles around and starts talking about pot.
Yep.
Like, come on, Gary.
I think he always reverts to that talking point because maybe it has really been 10 weeks and it's just like his mind is collapsing on itself and it's all he can think about.
I was thinking that too because he kept mentioning
he really misses weed.
In prior podcasts, he kept saying, well, it's been 6 weeks since I smoked weed, and every time it had been 6 weeks. Maybe he's going through some kind of crisis here.
It's going to be like that Seinfeld episode where they don't masturbate. Gary Johnson's just going to walk in. Bill Weld's going to be sitting at the desk and Gary Johnson's going to go in and slap $100 bills down and go, I'm out.
Now you got to post that Seinfeld clip in the show.
Gladly, I will.
So the youngins know what we're talking about.
I hope you guys are taking notes because I'm not taking notes right now. I'll listen to it again, though. I'll listen to all 85 minutes of this unedited podcast. Oh God! All right. So what do we say for that though? What about Gary Johnson? Yeah, do you guys like him? Let's put it this way. Let's not say this specific instance. In general, do you like Gary Johnson getting fired up? Because it seems like his de facto go-to now is that Gary Johnson gets fired up.
I like it as for entertainment purposes. So I'm going to give it a John's on because I like being entertained. But if I'm going to ask if this helps him at all, no, it makes him look like a libertarian lunatic and, hammers home the point that he's just not a serious candidate. So John's off in reality.
All right. Odie?
Yeah, I got to pretty much say the same thing. I mean, at times to get fired up, depending on the circumstances, maybe during a debate or something like that, which obviously he hasn't been included in. I think it's okay to get fired up, and it shows, that you are passionate about what you're talking about. But he's getting fired up when he's getting interviewed in a basement full of reporters and just at weird times when there's no reason to get fired up.
Rico, so John's off. So you're saying
John's off.
Rico with a reporter.
I think we got to ask the serious question: does Gary Johnson have the temperament to be president?
Yeah, how come Bill didn't mention Gary Johnson's temperament in his little love letter?
That's Bill Weld's next move. He's going to start saying that.
So
my running mate does not have the temperament to be president.
Bill Weld's going to be a mutineer. Basically, he's going to be like, I relieve you of command, sir, and then take control of the ticket.
Yes, John's off for me.
And I will round that out with another John's off. So, yeah, shameful. And then, of course, hey, guys, how great was it in our dream to see where Bill grew up and where he lives?
That was nice. That was the nicest part, actually. A lovely neighborhood. And next to Bill and Hillary.
Right next to the Clinton camp. Bet a lot of barbecues were had there. I bet, what do you want to bet that little Bill had a crush on little Hillary? Well, that's presuming that Bill and Hillary Clinton lived together as children, I guess.
Yeah, they grew up as children together.
I'm picturing Bill as like Back to the Future Biff after he gets punched out, where he's like waxing Marty's car. And he's like, and Bill comes out and he's like, oh. Or Bill Clinton comes in, he's like, oh, is that 2 coats, Mr. Weld? He's like, oh, sure, I'll put the other one on.
Excellent. I'll also link to that.
That's Gary at Bill's house. Gary is going to be Marty's dad with the George McFly when he's like, you know, in the real world, in the first version, before they change history, and who's just like, you know, he's what's his name's bitch.
Hello, Johnson. Hello.
Oh my God! Is there any way that we could pay Gary Johnson and Bill Weld to reshoot Back to the Future?
Is this the second time, by the way, that that's been a Back to the Future? Oh, we did it for the candidacy where they were all. Yeah. It was McAfee, I think, was Doc Brown.
You just signed yourself up for another Photoshop.
I challenge our audience to retroactively make.
Oh yeah, let's challenge the audience. If you can make anybody out there listening, make us a Photoshop of of Gary and Bill as Marty and
Biff.
Oh, he's Biff. Biff, yeah. Right? Okay.
We do have some listeners that have some serious Photoshop
We skills. Do. This is a real challenge. And when they do so, they can post that in the Lions of Liberty Forum, our private Facebook group. You can find that by just searching Lions of Liberty Forum in your little search bar there on Facebook. And we, of course, link to it in the show notes for every show. No excuse for not finding it unless you don't want to be on Facebook, and I can't blame you. But you can email it to me if you're one of those people, Marc, M-A-R-C, at lionsofliberty.com. So even then, we will look at your photo and give you some shout-outs and prizes you can't even imagine.
Because they don't exist.
Yeah, right. That's why.
They might be but they're coming. They are coming. I promise you that.
Try to imagine it. Try.
They are coming. Whatever your wildest dreams can think of, that's what we're working on, I'm sure. But there really will be prizes. But let's give a grade. So how about that statement though that Bill Weld put out? Like, I mean, are you fucking kidding me with that statement? And then they retracted it. And they put out another statement saying, "Oh no, he didn't mean that. He obviously wants you to vote for Gary Johnson and Bill Weld. He doesn't want you to vote for Hillary Clinton." I mean, that's not what he was saying.
Yeah. There's two sides of this, because there's the articles out there that are kind of being a little hyperbolic with the headline, like libertarians concede the race, America is shocked, endorse Hillary Clinton. And like,
America would have to know who they are to be shocked.
Yeah, like America is not shocked. They don't even know who these guys are. First of all, second of all, okay, fine. He didn't like say those words, but then there's the other side of all the people defending him. They're like, guys, did you even read it? He didn't endorse Hillary Clinton. You're not reading it. No, you're not reading it, you dummies, because you're not reading between the lines. If you read the thing, he doesn't say the words, I'm conceding the race, but he pretty much does. He pretty much says, well, we gave it our best shot. The Commission on Presidential Debate screwed us. And then he goes into this. He doesn't talk about liberty. He doesn't talk about how we got to continue to fight for liberty and advance values.
And he doesn't talk about Clinton either.
No, he does not talk about Clinton. All he goes into is this diatribe about how terrible Donald Trump is, how much the world's going to end if this guy with this temperament gets into presidency. Meanwhile, look who Hillary Clinton is. And look, if you want to criticize both of them, I would have no problem with this at all. If he said the Donald Trump stuff and then said, well, hey, but look what the DNC is doing, inciting violence. Look at Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation. Look what Hillary wants to do in Syria and start World War III. How about going off that stuff, Bill, if you're going to look at these guys so critically? It's so freaking obvious that this guy is a Hillary Clinton plant. I cannot even believe there's anybody defending him anymore. I mean, he donated to a Republican governor not that long ago, rightly censored by the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, Roger Paxton, Darryl Perry. That's the right thing to do. And because he should be censured for that. He's literally supporting another party in a state for a party he pledged to wear his libertarian hat for life for. The guy is a clown. The guy is a shill. And Gary is a fucking clown for bringing him into his campaign in the first place. End of Bill Weld rant.
And all the delegates who voted for Bill Weld are also clowns. You should be ashamed of yourselves. It's disgusting.
maybe they're the scary clowns terrorizing America. It's all the former delegates.
That probably. I feel like we have no other option now. We've got to terrify children into voting for Bill Weld.
Scary clowns are the Johnson Weld delegates.
Yeah, it's just so ridiculous. It's really an indefensible statement. Like you said, if you're not mentioning, if you go both ways, fine. If you're not mentioning Clinton at all, and then it also has that rhetoric in it at the end where it's like your vote is too important to waste, and it's like, yeah, but you're not saying like Gary says, vote for what you believe in, vote for liberty, vote to make a statement that the two-party duopoly is fucking bullshit. He just is like, Trump's so bad, he can't be president. Don't waste your vote. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
He almost did say, he did say at one point, if you are, sure you're going to vote for one of the two parties, if you're stuck in the two-party system, and then he went on to trash Trump. It was like, if you've already discounted us entirely.
Right.
Which you have, let's be honest.
Clearly have. Yeah. But you know what? Let's say, guys, so obviously that's a John Soft. We don't need to go around the circle. John Soft. Ugh, Bill, the worst.
What was he talking about at the very end, though? The guy interviewing said, well, if Trump's elected, we won't have a two-party duopoly. We'll instead have a one-party state. And Weld says, I completely agree. Well, what does that mean? Somehow Trump is going to suppress the Democratic Party?
How
does that happen? Please elaborate. I'd love to know.
The fact we already have a one-party state. It just has two heads to it. And Bill Weld is a part of it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they're like people are talking like Trump's going to be... He's going to rule the world and he's going to be a dictator and blah, blah. It's like, no, he's not. He's not going to do shit. Just like most presidents can't really do shit because Congress is there for a reason. I mean, give me a fucking break about this.
Can I throw out a possible mind weld?
Yes.
Is it too late in the show?
No, it's never too late. Hold on. Let me cue the sound effect. All right, go ahead.
So this is purely hypothetical and conjecture. Maybe not hypothetical, but previous emails, WikiLeaks, showed that Clinton wanted Trump to be the Republican candidate because he'd probably be easier
only person
to
she could beat. Yeah.
What if yet to be released WikiLeaks showed Hillary also wanted Weld to be in the Libertarian Party just as kind of a insurance policy?
Ooh.
That would be incredible.
That would be the WikiLeaks of the year.
I can't wait.
Would it be surprising, though?
I can't wait. It's coming. I can't wait for it.
Not surprising. No, not at all.
It'll be so great.
My man Bill, he says I'm a good kid.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see what the agreement was. Like, so we're going to pay Bill $3 million and he's going to be the foreign secretary to Brazil. Or whatever it was. Somebody in the forum actually corrected us, Rico, on the last Mr. Johnson's Libertyhood. We were talking about what exactly Bill Weld was lobbying for as a, he was supposed to be the head of the consulate, wherever, the foreign ambassador.
I thought it was supposed to be Costa Rica and then someone said Mexico. I would much rather be the ambassador to Costa Rica.
Oh, by far.
Supposed to be Mexico originally.
Yeah, Mexico. So correct us. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe he's going back to Mexico. Who knows? But yeah, that's a good theory. I can't wait to see if it happens.
Don't let the wall hit you on the way out, Bill.
I get it.
Don't let the freezer hit you on the way out.
He's taking the freezer with him. That's what, you know what? Yeah, Bill, good luck in Mexico, buddy. I've seen the freezers in Mexico and they do not work that well. Or that weld. So let's say, by the way, let's end on a high note here, guys. All right. Let's end on a high note. Let's talk about New Mexico. Because Gary Johnson's polling like 25% in New Mexico. And all he needs, in theory, is like one state to really force the Electoral College to decide between him and these other two tard clowns. So that's encouraging, doubly so because, Rico, tell the people out there about the little bet that we've made.
Well, I'm pulling up my account now, and I can't remember the exact odds. Let me see. Pending wagers.
Wait, I thought gambling was illegal.
$50 on a Libertarian to win the primary in New Mexico at plus $5,500.
Wait, the primary? That's not going to happen.
Or not the primary. The
general election?
Yeah, the general election.
Crap, voted on the primary.
Yeah. Is that your Lebo moment?
Yes. So if Gary Johnson were to win New Mexico, that $50 pays out $2,750.
Booyah! Come on, Gary!
That would be the best thing Gary Johnson ever did for you.
Johnson!
Realistically, is there any chance of that happening? I mean, he is polling at 24%. So
yeah, I think it's very realistic as they tear into each other more and more. As more stuff comes out from WikiLeaks, brings Clinton down. I mean, look, probably Trump will win the state, but you never know, man. 25% is that's pretty high polling. And who knows?
New Mexico normally a blue state? No,
it is a Democrat.
It is, yeah. That was their claim to fame. They were like, we're Republican governors.
A Republican governor in a Democratic state. So.
Yeah, exactly. So please, God, just let him get that one. Even though I spell your name with a lowercase g. Give me this one. Give me this one, God. All right, Mark, you know what? So anyway, that's some hope for Gary. And also, you know what gives us hope, guys? I know Mark wants to talk about this. The Lions of Liberty forum on Facebook gives us hope. Hope for humanity, hope for libertarianism. Thank you everybody that's active on the forum. Mark, you want to talk about a recent a posting there to wrap this show up. So hit it, bud.
I do. I want to talk about this post real quick. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to flat out read it. And there's a Gary Johnson tie-in in here as well. But I did want to read this because I do appreciate our forum members. We had a guy in there this week who clearly not a libertarian, but he joined the forum and he was posting a pro Jill Stein meme. And that could happen. This is a little sidetrack. That could happen in so many libertarian groups, and the guy would just get ripped to shreds. And people disagree with him a lot, but he wasn't coming in there dogmatic. He even said, I'm here, I'm curious about the ideas. And I think that's great. Like, you don't have to come in agreeing with us. You don't even have to leave agreeing with us. You just have to have a respectful conversation. And so many people disagree with him on a lot of points, but it was the best conversation. I mean, there was no, you're an idiot, you're a statist. There's none of that stuff. So the Lions Liberty Forum is a place where you can truly have these great conversations without descending into ad hom madness. And I did want to point out one post, though, from a fella, Austin Wilson. And I'm going to read this out here real quick. And then there's a Gary Johnson tie-in, as I said. So I think it's actually an interesting talking point. But I did want to read this post from Austin Wilson. He said, I wanted to take some time and thank the Lions of Liberty podcast for changing the way I look at American politics. Me, in a nutshell, I was raised Republican, and once I got to college, I didn't give two shits about politics. I voted for Barack in the last two elections because I thought it was the right thing to do. I voted for Bernie in the primaries because I thought it was the right thing to do. However, when I found out I had to choose between Trump and Clinton, I knew it was time for me to find the voice out there for me. See, my grandparents are legal immigrants from Mexico, and I come from a family of small business owners, restaurant owners, jewelers, glass blowers, etc. Glass blowers, Gary Johnson Center said, I was introduced to Gary Johnson, and I loved what he was preaching. Small government and socially tolerable. I never understood why one couldn't be for homosexuals to marry while also having the smallest government possible. While I listened to as many Gary Johnson YouTube videos as I possibly could, I needed more information. I then got into Google and typed in best libertarian podcasts. I stumbled across an article that We Are Libertarians, shout out to Chris Spangle, posted that included Tom Woods, Jason Stapleton, Johnny Rocket Launchpad, and of course, Lions of Liberty. The descriptor said, much like we are libertarians, enjoy a beer and catch up with friends. I loved it. The first podcast I listened to was Lions of Liberty, and it truly changed me. It made me realize that there are people in the country that believe in what I believe in, which is limited government, civil liberties, and drinking a nice adult beverage. Thank you to everyone at Lions of Liberty for showing me the fire of liberty. And
yeah, nicely said. Look at that.
Awesome.
Slow clap for Austin Wilson. Not really for Austin Wilson, but I mean, for everybody that has become a part of this conversation, because, trust me, we're not making money at this. We're not becoming millionaires. We're not becoming Enian-aires. We're not becoming 10-cent heirs at this.
Some would argue we're losing money. Thousands of dollars.
You could argue that. We've actually documented it.
Some would be correct if they argued that.
We do this because we want to do what we're doing here, inspire people to think about things differently and hopefully become inclined towards the ideas of liberty. And I just wanted to thank Austin for posting that, first of all, because honestly, it's stuff like that keeps me going, hearing stories like that. So if you got a story like Austin Wilson, please come over to the forum and post it. Like I said, you can also email me, Marc, M-A-R-C, at lionsofliberty.com. You can tweet to us at Lions of Liberty. So many ways to get in touch with us. But what I really found the most interesting about this is he did come into libertarianism, and we've had a lot of conversation about this through Gary Johnson. Now, a lot of people will say, Roger Paxton the most strongly that he is not a libertarian, flat out. I mean, even us, I might say he's libertarian on 10% of things. It isn't so bad on other things, but we still end up tearing him to shreds, even trying to be nice about it. But you got to say, now, he at least has done this for some people, and he's not the first one to mention it. Larry Sharp, Remzo Martinez, they all said that they had first heard Johnny Adams. They first heard about libertarianism, just heard the word from Gary Johnson. So even though I think Gary Johnson takes a lot of incorrect positions, doesn't portray himself correctly, doesn't portray the ideas of liberty correctly, there's some circumstantial evidence out there that just his presence and getting out there in whatever way he's been able to, which, bad or good, he has gotten more coverage than any other libertarian candidate. I do think a lot of that is the circumstances, the same circumstances that pushed Austin to look for this stuff of Trump and Clinton. But I think you got to give some kind of credit here to Gary Johnson, because when this number of people are telling me they first learned about libertarianism because of him, and then they come to people like us, and maybe we're bringing them down that pathway a little bit more, you got to give him credit, and I'm going to give him a strong Johnson for this.
Johnson!
All right, yeah, I guess we can concede that point that but hey,
still worthy of criticism.
I was gonna say something bad and be like, but what if it wasn't him? And how many more people would come in? No,
that's not bad. That's perfectly legitimate.
I'm gonna refrain.
We'll never know. I mean, yeah, who knows?
What if it was somebody who could communicate the ideals of liberty even better, even more strongly than Johnson? My God, they flock in droves.
Is it all just because there's a human being there saying the word libertarianism, and it could be anybody? How much of it is the fact that it's Gary Johnson? How much of the attention is because it's two-term Governor Gary Johnson, and how much of it is just because Trump and Clinton?
Well, you know what? I will give him this. Jill Stein has largely, even though she's polling a few percent in places, she's largely been ignored. So I'll give credit to Gary and Bill for that. They have gotten media coverage. They are at least in the conversation where you don't hear Jill Stein mention the conversation, and rightly so, in my opinion.
But you know what? Jill Stein is included in every single poll, and Jill Stein doesn't have Bill Weld as her vice president. So how'd that happen?
Who is her vice president? Is it just like a cactus with sunglasses on?
His last name is like
cow
or something. Something Baraka. He's got a pretty cool name, actually.
Baraka!
Yeah, and he called President Obama and Uncle Tom. I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we'd like this guy.
Maybe so. All right, guys. Well, you know what? Let's wrap it up there because I have about 17 hours of editing to do on this podcast. So let's wrap it up. You know what? I don't know about you, Mark, but I think instead of our usual sign-off,
should we do one more thing? I know this is going long, but
okay, go.
I feel because this is the last Gary Johnson show before the election. So should we quickly just do a prediction how he's going to finish? I think since we're probably not going to do this again.
Yes, good point. Thank you. Yes, go ahead. Why don't you start it off?
Oh, I got to go first? Damn it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say, I'm just going to say Gary Johnson gets between 3 and 5% of the vote, but does not get that. It'll be like 4.9. I don't think he's going to get that 5%. That even that 5%. There's a lot of myths about what that does. Some states it helps. Some states it can possibly hurt. Some states it doesn't matter. But either way, I don't think he's getting that. He might get it. He will get it in some states. Don't get me wrong. I think he will hit it maybe in certain states. Yeah, I think he'll definitely hit it in New Mexico. And I think he'll do it, but he's not going to get 5% of the national popular vote. I just, considering 1% is what the highest any libertarian's ever gotten, I just do not see that happening. I think a lot of the end of the day, so many people are going to be inflamed by the Trump-Clinton thing. And I think a lot of people are going to still revert to that lesser of evils mentality and end up voting for one or the other, whichever they perceive to be the worst, best. I think more people than before will go third party, but not enough to give him more than the 5%. So 3 to 5%, nothing spectacular. But the thing is, 3 to 5%, you're still going to hear a lot of libertarians saying, see, best showing of all time. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what lessons are going to be learned.
Due to the conditions, but yeah. Okay, so Rico, what about you? What do you think?
I would go with the low end of Marc's prediction. I think he'll get about 3%, and he will not win New Mexico. So, sorry, your $50 is gone.
Don't you say that. Didn't you put money down, too? It's not just my money.
I did not put $50 down.
Yeah, but you put like $1.
Maybe a little bit more. But if Gary does win, I will fly out to party and we'll invite Gary along.
Nice. That's what I like to hear,
He'll have nothing else to do.
I'm going to fly and I'm going to rig some votes in New Mexico. I'm going to dig up some dead people. That's what I'm going to do. What about you, Odie? What do you think?
Just call up those guys from that Project Veritas video. They got fired. They can probably help you out with that.
Yeah, exactly. Get some Donald Ducks
or because they don't have a job.
Because they don't have a job. And they'll probably be dead soon. But yeah.
I'm sure. They'd cross the Clintons. You don't end up alive after that.
But I was talking about the guys on the video, not the people that made the video.
Yeah,
but
the guy, the glasses,
probably they'll all be dead. Anyone associated with that video will be dead within a year. Sure.
Yeah. All right. So what's your prediction?
I'm going to say Gary Johnson overall popular vote, like 2.5%. And I think he will get close in New Mexico, but he will lose. I think Trump's going to win New Mexico. And yeah, he won't get 5% overall. He will get it in some states. And like Marc said, I think unfortunately people will say, look, he got more than double the vote. So we should get more people like Gary Johnson in the Libertarian Party, more Republican lights, which we don't need. So
interesting. That. All right. Three negative Nancys. You know what? Even though I do agree, I think most people at the end of the day will revert and say, well, Johnson's not going to win. I'm going to vote for Clinton or Trump. Even in our own emails, we've been saying that in a swing state, would we just vote for Trump because we hate Hillary Clinton so passionately that we don't want her to win. But I'm going to say Gary Johnson will get over the 5% threshold. I'm going to say he's going to get 6%. And I know I'm I'm going counter to everybody here, and I stand by my assessment. 6%. You heard it here first. Boom. Blowing it up.
Not going to.
Will this be the last time we ever talk about Gary Johnson?
No, we'll do a posthumous. Well, we're going to do a eulogy. That's what I'm going to call it. It'll be a Libertyhood eulogy to Gary Johnson and Bill Weld. Looking back at all the fond times we've had with Gary. No, we'll do one more show after this one, after the election. So don't worry, you'll get your Libertyhood fix. And don't worry, guys, there'll be more to come. We'll talk more about this in the weeks to come. But 2017 is going to be a very exciting year for the Lions of Liberty podcast. A lot of new stuff's coming your guys' way, and I think everybody will be really excited about it.
Maybe somebody can make a montage of all the surprise Gary faces.
Oh, that would be awesome. Awesome. Because he does look like a shocked bird all the time. All right. Well, this seems to be wrapping up. Marc, you want to take us out with a special Halloween Live Long, Live Free? Hit it, man.
Live long and live free. Oh, yes, my Undertaker.
Oh, Hillary. Oh, yeah. Don't wake up. Don't wake up. Don't wake up.